Welcome back to Move Skill. We're going to dive into the jerk now. The jerk is a really powerful athletic movement, the point of which is to get a heavy load overhead. Heavier load than you can press, heavier load even than you can push press. So we're going to break this down into some drills that you can practice and then put them back together into the whole movement. So the first thing I need to point out here is, Jim, pretend you're grabbing a barbell. I want you to notice a couple of things. The shoulders, he really cranked his shoulders around. He's pressing up. He's going to hold whatever's in his hand here aggressively. Now, this imaginary barbell in his hands, watch the movement here. He's going to dip and drive straight down and up. Watch this line of the trunk. It's really important in the jerk and a push press for that matter not to tip. Can you show the wrong way a couple times? Just tip. If we allow the trunk to tip, this load that's on the shoulders is going to want to fall forward, and it's going to cause all kinds of problems. So make sure that when you're doing this, straight up and down with the back. In spite of that, he's still staying on his heels. He's flat-footed, and his weight is toward the middle back of his foot. He feels his heels solidly on the ground. So dip, drive one more time. Dip, drive. So that's where most of the power from the jerk comes from. That's really all the power of the jerk comes from this powerful hip dip and drive. So go ahead and grab the barbell, please. So again, notice, will you show a passive rack real quick? Just like, don't let your arms drape, especially don't let these elbows fall back like this. This is wicked hard to hold on to here, super hard to hold on to. When he gets a nice solid rack position here, I can push really hard on this and it's not going to go anywhere. In fact, I could hang on that thing now and still dip and drive straight down and up. So here's the slow motion, down and up, down and up. I want to point out something about this rack position. This is not a front squat rack position. Can you show that real quick? Front squat, the bar is on the shoulders. The barbell weight is fully on his shoulders here. For a jerk or a push press, we're going to reposition the bar more into his hands, okay? It's still on his shoulders as much as he can get, but it's in his hands. So now what we want to do is dip and drive with the hips and then add the shoulder, add a shoulder shrug in here. So dip, drive, right? So even a little slower, please. Dip, drive, and you'll see this hips come up back to full extension and then the shoulders take over and add a little more oomph. One more time. Good. Now let's do it a little bit faster. We want to really generate some speed here. You come down with control and you drive up really fast. It's an aggressive turnaround at the bottom. So watch this. Dip and drive straight down and bam, he's driving the bar up. And can you see the bar start to float here? He's putting enough power into this already that it kind of hangs. There's a little bit of a hang time in there, a little bit of a float. Let's go ahead and set that bar down, please. And here's what we're going to do with the float. Once you've launched your barbell on its way up, part way up there, you get that little bit of hang time because of your powerful hip drive. And in that little window, there's a tiny, maybe a split second, you get a window here to change directions. And this looks like this. Go ahead and he's going to get full extension and then drop. Bam. And that is a very rapid change of direction. You've just launched yourself in the bar on the way up, and as soon as the bar's on its way, bam, you're dropping. One more time, watch this. The bar's on its way up, drop. Notice how aggressively locked out those shoulders are. By the time your feet land, the shoulders are locked and you're ready, you're already prepared to receive this barbell, which is going to do what? It's going to start trying to fall on you, right? So let's go ahead and set the PVC down and put this together with a barbell. What we're going to do now is take these two drills you've done already, dipping and driving slowly, dipping and driving with more speed and power, and then we've just added the drop drill. And now let's put this together into a little bit of a sequence here where Jim's going to dip, drive, and let that bar float, and then do that again. Dip, drive, and let that bar float. One more time. Dip, drive, let it float. Now the third time, he's going to jerk. In that float, that little float window, he's going to change directions and receive that bar. And jerk. Pause at the bottom after you've dropped under and received that bar in the fully locked out position. Pause. Don't stand up too fast. Make sure that you Stop long enough at the bottom of that to make sure that you have control. Again, jerk. Control, then stand up. So let's show that sequence 2 more times, please. 2 dip drives and then a jerk. Dip drive and let that bar float. Again, boom. Powerful hip extension. And jerk. And again, stop at the bottom of the jerk. 1 more time with that whole sequence, please. Dip drive, let it float. 1 more time. And this time on the jerk, really aggressively receive that. Bam. Pause long enough to own it, and then stand up. Notice something. When Jim dropped under the bar, he didn't drop very far because it's light and he had a lot of power on the way up, and he didn't need to drop very far. Can you fake like that's a little heavier, please? Dip drive, and just drop a little deeper under it. This dropping under with control is where we put this together, and you take, ultimately, once you're good at the movement, very heavy loads, drive them up as hard as you can, and then drop under it to receive it. 1 more. Drive it up, drop. All right? In order for that to fully develop, we have to explain and work on the split jerk, which we'll do in another video. Okay, one last point here. I want to point out a fault. The major common trouble causer here is tipping forward when we dip. So show a little bit of that, please. A little bit of lean forward when we dip, like turning this into too much of a squat type motion. It's now very hard to control. The center of gravity of the bar is shifted forward. It's pulling him out of balance, even with this really small weight. And also, his face is more in the way. When he comes back up, it's going to be a problem. Make sure, let's show the correct way 1 more time, please. Make sure when you're practicing this that you're coming down and up, straight down and up. In fact, a good way to practice this is get over, put your back against a wall, maybe with nothing or even just fake or even a PVC in your hand, and practice this down and up, sliding or right near the wall so you can tell if you lean.